Minds, Mr. Dipankar Gupta. He's been a former Solicitor General of India, and Dr. Abhishek Singhvi, who joins us in his capacity as a former additional Solicitor General of India. Thank you both so much for joining us. Mr. Gupta, very briefly, what really are the options before the court tomorrow?
Well, it's very difficult to anticipate, but I tell you what normally happens. If a petition is filed, and it is coming up for the first time, and an opportunity has to be given to the other side to respond to that petition. Now, this is what would normally be expected.
So you're saying that there's no possibility of some sort of an instant order or an instant solution to the deadlock, as in a sense, in the way that we've seen it, that there'll be an immediate answer? That's unlikely.
You see, there I have a comment, and that is the judgment of 1994 lays down very clearly what are the duties of the central government. Now, this land, which is called undisputed, which is really speaking outside the disputed area, but within the acquired area, that land has vested in the central government absolutely because of the Ayodhya Act. Now, they are the owners today. Now, when you approach the owner of the land to do something, then normally speaking, it's for the owner to decide, having regard to what the Supreme Court has said in the judgment.
So is there a possibility then, Dr. Singhvi, that the court might simply say tomorrow that it's a matter that, in terms of jurisdiction, comes under the realm of the central government? And end it at that?
This is really in the realm of speculation, but several things are possible. One, of course, is that it simply gives the government more time, as Mr. Gupta has said. But of course, it is possible entirely for the government to waive that right to seek more time and to say, look, there's a 15th March deadline coming, we want a decision now. In that event, the court may itself decide not to answer the question. It is not obliged to answer the question raised either in the application or impliedly by the government.
Right.
So it may say, why should you come here? We have a judgment given earlier in 1994. It is for you to read, interpret, act upon it. It requires no clarification.
You have the judgment right there before you. Just one follow-up to that. Is there something in the judgment which states, Dr. Singhvi, that changing the status of the acquired land cannot happen till the main primary dispute over the disputed land is settled by the court?
Now, speaking as a lawyer and legally speaking and interpreting the judgment, it's a long judgment. I have tried to read it carefully. There is no clear sentence to the effect which you have said. There is equally no clear sentence to say that the undisputed land can be simply handed over. Now, the relevant paras, and I think I don't want to sound pedantic about it, but this is the only way to deal with this issue. The paras 49, 50, 57 and 96, they are the four paras which are the key to the majority judgment. It appears to me that these four paras read holistically could leave some scope for clarification either way, because they clearly say that as far as the disputed area is concerned, it is frozen in a statutory receiver and can't be dealt with.
Right.
For the undisputed area, although it vests as an owner in the central government, they say that it has a reasonable nexus with the object of taking the disputed area itself. In other words, the undisputed area and the disputed area are linked into one holistic whole. The issue as to in what manner, at what time that undisputed area is to be handed back after determination that it's superfluous or surplus, that is still left a little vague.
Okay, so you're saying, in other words, that the government might have the power to actually allow access to that land, perhaps even allow a puja. It might have that power. That's the ambivalence in the order. Let me just get Mr. Gupta, and would you say that there is that ambivalence?
Well, I wouldn't say that. Like lawyers, we very often differ in court. I mean, to me, it seems that so far as the undisputed area is concerned, what the Supreme Court has said is, why was it acquired? And that question was answered by the Supreme Court by saying that the title to the disputed area will be decided. Now, we don't know who is going to win. So, if the Hindu community wins, then there will be one, it has to be handed over to them.
Right.
If the Muslim community wins, it has to be handed over to them. And the rest of the area, which we call undisputed today, will be in aid of the party who is going to win.
Which is going to win. Just following up from that very point of, let's say, part 96 of the judgment, which talks about requiring maintenance of the status quo. If I just like to relate it to the VHP statement today, because some have tried to see in the VHP statement that we'll hand over one stone to a district administration official at what they claim is the undisputed area, which is essentially the acquired land, is there a legal angle to it? In the sense, does the ownership of that acquired land change if one VHP functionary hands over one stone to a district administration official and the official accepts it?
No, you see, there are again two things. First is that handing over a stone standing in the undisputed area by one person X to another person Y, of course doesn't change.
Is it purely symbolic, or could there be a legal angle to that?
See, why is it being done? So obviously it is at least to create some kind of a right that it is being thought of.
Right.
Otherwise there was no point in it.
Okay, let me just get a last quick word from you, Abhishek. Would it be legal for the VHP to enter the so-called undisputed land with the stone?
Well, certainly not in the way these 4 paras are structured. At the minimum, it would require a affirmative clarification by the Supreme Court, at the minimum. But these 4 paras seem to suggest clearly that there is a direct link between the undisputed and the disputed area. And they suggest further that in a manner and time indicated, it may be possible to hand over surplus area. But the fact that the manner and time has not yet occurred can't be denied.
Just one more thing. I mean, just get a quick response from both of you. What's your hunch on what the Supreme Court would do? I know you're going to say it's speculative, but do you think the court can essentially say tomorrow that at this point of time, given the present situation, we don't want to get into it?
That's a very likely possibility. In fact, that's what I said in the beginning, that there is no reason why the court is obliged to enter into this.
Right.
In fact, it may say that you're really trying to pass on your chestnuts to us.
Dr. Gupta?
I agree with that. I just had a rider saying that there has been a disturbing trend in organizations saying in the recent past that after a court verdict, we haven't said that we are going to obey it. I mean, that's a very disturbing thing.
Right. So no easy solutions as far as Ayodhya is concerned. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Well, of course, on Star News, I will continue to